Hey, hello, welcome to the show. It is me, John Park, and we're back in the workshop. Thanks everyone so much for stopping by. I was out last week, but I'm back, and we've got some fun stuff to do here today in the workshop. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We have people in our chats. Look, there's the YouTube chat right there. Hello to Dave Odessa. If anyone else wants to join in, you won't be alone, so head on over there. However, the main place you'll find our chat is right here in the Discord. And that's over at adafruit.it/discord. And then you'll look for that live broadcast chat channel over there. And hello to Paul Cutler for stopping by, and Andy Calloway, Dan Coliano, Thin Man, hello, having project withdrawals. Okay, so let's dive into some of those things. What do I have here today? It's a bit, because I was away, it's I didn't have a Tuesday show, so it's a slightly different show today. I do have a coupon code for you. I do not have a recap from the Tuesday show because there was not one. Hey Seagrover, nice to see you there. I do have a CircuitPython Parsec, that's the word for it, a Parsec for you today. And what else? We've got, get that out of the way, a couple of tooltip and retro gear kinds of things that I'm going to be doing today. I can't remember, do I have the, yeah, I can show a little progress on the Bluetooth scanner, but I've got a demo of the pinball table. I want to kind of get started on the macro view of it and show you the table itself and play a little pinball. I just have a wide shot of the, or a sort of medium shot of the table right now. I don't have any close-up stuff to look at the mechanisms, but we might still pull off the glass and open it up so you can have a look in there. I think I've got a light that'll help us. What else? I've started to put together some CRTs back on this wall, and you'll probably see some over behind the pinball table. Not sure exactly what the plan is there, but I'm reorganizing stuff. I got rid of a couple of old things and brought in a new shelf for some of my CRTs, so some sort of CRT something will be up. In fact, I saw an article Paul Cutler pointed me at over on Blue Sky the other day about someone doing a deep dive on the current state of CRT hoarding, CRT use, sales. Of course, things have blown up in the last 10 years or so, starting, I guess, with retro gaming enthusiasm, and then COVID. It's a little different now. But what else? I do have a tooltip I'm going to do on WLED 16. David Glade pointed out my sound goes down when I turn and look at the lab. This is a good point. I also was moving this microphone. Hold on, I'm gonna adjust this microphone a little bit and get it closer to me. Yeah, I'm not wearing a lavalier mic anymore, which was nice in that it followed me around and kind of even when I turned, if I turned my chest. I'm using a more directional mic now, 2 of them, but boy, those lav mics started to give me problems towards the end, and they kind of need to be wireless just because of ground loops and things. The receiver packs use batteries, I should say power, decoupled from the power lines, so I was going through a lot of batteries that way. So I'm kind of glad with this setup, but it is something I need to get used to. Dave Odessa says, it looks like you've had your hair coiffured. I threw some water on it and put a comb through it before the show. And it was under a hat. all day, so it got a little weird. I think I got it cut since last time, though. Does that count? Is that a coiffure? And yes, as so I was saying, I have a tool tip I want to do on the 2D tools inside of WLED 16. Got very inspired by Erin. Erin Sambley was talking about her WLED projects, and she's actually writing a guide on WLED 16, which has a ton of features, and I've only just started to look at a couple of them and put it on a Sparkle Motion, one of these here. So we'll take a look at that, and that'll be the show. Lars has a hat. Lars has a hat, which is that little wedgie guy. I don't know if I've heard any name suggestions for him yet. Oh, hey, Biggie RP says we have some of the GP2040 CE team along for the stream chat today. Hey, that's so cool. I actually left the leverless controller back inside. I do have, this was the prototype, yeah, this was kind of version 1 of it when I had the rounder case. I could talk about that a little bit. And the board on it, actually right now on this one, I have one of the Zhao boards connected to our little terminal block BFF there, which I think should be pretty interesting to some of the GP2040 CE team who are building minimalist stuff, little smaller controllers with just a few buttons. We can do, I think, 11 GPIO or 12 with that before we get wacky. But hey, thanks for stopping by. So I do have one of my other joysticks here. We'll talk about that. VP Tech Ops just dropped by. Howdy. Okay, so let's start with a discount, shall we? Glyphs. That is your discount code today. So if you want to head over to the Adafruit shop and buy some cool stuff, you'll get 10% off. So, for example, if you're thinking of building some little joysticks and controllers using QT or using QT plus a bunch of buttons, etc., you can pick up all that stuff for 10% off. Just head over to, let me bring up the, oh, I didn't configure this thing, did I? Let me configure the browser, sorry about that. Yeah, that's the Adafruit shop. Yeah, so head on over here, head to the Adafruit shop, throw some stuff in your cart. Coincidentally, this is a new item in the shop. It's this little 3D printed snap-on enclosure for the terminal block BFF. That's kind of nice. You can see this is it open with the lid exposed, but it does have screw slot for screw access, as well as the spare GPIO pin rows. So you can get your screwdriver on the top of it, wires into the side of it, and pop your BFF in there. So that's something that you'd get for 10% off. In fact, pretty much everything is 10% off with the coupon code GLYPHS today until midnight, East Coast time, other than software, gift certificates, or subscriptions. So if it's physical stuff, you're good to go. I don't even think we have restrictions on Raspberry Pi branded stuff. So I don't know, go grab a Pico for $5 and change instead of $6.25. Why not? So that's the coupon code today. Like I say, that's good until midnight. Tonight it is glyphs. Why is it glyphs? Well, we're going to talk about some glyphs in a second when we get to the CircuitPython Parsec. Let's see what else is going on. So as I said, sorry, I didn't have a product pick of the week show this past Tuesday because I was out of town, but I do have one next Tuesday. So come on by for that. Tune in because that's going to be an Adafruit product pick. That means it's going to be 50% off. And if it's something you want it cheap like that, right? So come on by Tuesday, 1 o'clock West Coast time, Pacific time, 4 o'clock East Coast time, New York time. And we'll play around with, do a demo, show some code, examples, etc., and you get your big discount. Okay, next up, speaking of glyphs, how about the CircuitPython Parsec? Hey, all right, let me get this rolling. That looks good. Yeah, we can see that. So for the CircuitPython Parsec today, I wanted to talk about using custom characters on the LCD character display. So I've been showing this kind of, whoa, I just hit the F12 button. Or F11. There we go. I've been using this little character LCD sort of backpack that's Arduino sized. I've got this one on a Metro RP2040. Sorry, the camera's close. But so this is a little 16 character by 2-line display. LCD character display has built-in library of characters, and then there are 8 slots where you can create your own custom characters. So I wanted to show you how to do that. So first thing, let's just show it. Let me set this running again so you can see here. Typical characters up at the top, right? You can just type in some strings. But down at the bottom there, those are some glyphs or characters that don't exist in the library that came on this. But so long as it's something that you can create in a 8 pixel by 5 pixel space, which is the dimension of a character on this display, you can store 8 of those and then call them up anytime you need them. So we'll look at some more advanced tricks with this another day, but today I just wanted to show you how you make them and then how you print them. So if you take a look at the code here, you can see I'm doing the Adafruit character LCD over I2C library setup. I'm setting some variables for the columns. There's 16 character columns and rows, 2 character rows, and then setting up I2C here. Then you can see I'm creating a bunch of these little, essentially byte arrays for those characters that I want to make. So the first one you see on there, that little iPhone looking thing, it's called empty box here. This is the 8 rows and 5 columns. I've just arranged them in a way that I can kind of make some sense of. And where you see a 0, there's going to be nothing. Where you see a 1, there's going to be 1 little dot. So for example, this little skull, you can see here, there's a couple of spots missing there. So if we look at on the second row, we have 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. And that's what gives us the side of the skull, blank for an eye, middle for the nose, blank for an eye, side of the skull. So you can create these, and they are essentially using the lower 5 bits of a byte, and we have 8 bytes per character. So the 8 slots that we can fill, I've created a character in slot 0, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slots 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's all created at the beginning. Then I'm clearing the LCD, setting the RGB backpack color on that, printing the usual LCD.message, and I'm just typing in a string here. But then I'm also putting in the message initially of that whole row of my custom characters by saying, let's use the custom bytes in slot X00, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then I sleep, and then we do this little similar dance where I'm printing them with a little space in between each of them. So for each character in those 8 characters, we're going to move the cursor to initially 0, 1, and then print out just that character, pause a little bit, move 2 characters over, and repeat that until we've run through all those characters. So if we want to change one of these, let's change this. How about the very first one on there? So that's this iPhone looking thing there. If we just want to make that, how about some horizontal lines? So I'm just going to go every other row is solid and every other row is empty. So I'll just copy that, paste, 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 hit save, and now you'll see we've got this little horizontal rows running across the top of it. You can see my my Z here, my least favorite text editor that I don't know why I'm still using. My Z decided to reformat all of those on me. I had them nice and vertical. It just ruined it. But I will also mention one thing, which is it is fairly typical to create these. If you look at the fonts in these are usually 5 horizontal and 7 vertical, leaving the bottom row blank, just so that you can put a blinking cursor underneath it or have space between rows. So typically these fonts on these little displays are actually just using 5 by 7, but we can use that full space. So if I just want to create a block of these that takes up the full space, I'll do it like this. We'll look at some more advanced techniques another time where we can use multiple of these to create what seem to be sort of larger icons with a little bit of gap between them. But if we fill up that space, we can create some bigger icons that you'll see sometimes on these types of displays. And so that is how you can create your own glyphs or custom characters inside of CircuitPython on the LCD character display. And that is your CircuitPython Parsec. I was just looking over in the chat there. David Glaude says, I was an active member of the LCD Proc developer team. We were using these custom characters to do a nice progress bar. That was the best screen you could get at the time. I believe the project's still alive. I'm going to bring this up, actually, if you want to read it, too. There's the Discord. And available on most Linux distributions. At the time, everyone wanted to display the CPU and temperature percentage, CPU percentage and temperature of their PC. Matrix, Orbital, and Crystal fonts were the brands with serial protocol. But DIY screens were also supported. Tyeth has a really good question. I do not know. Were those pre-filled before I started messing around with them? I may have written, so there's the CG RAM are the slots where this is stored. I'm curious if I don't create these characters. Let me go back to my IDE. Let's mess around for a second here. If I don't create these and call them, what do we get? And it may be too late. It may be that it sort of remembers what I've got in there, but I can try a little reset. So let's hit save. Even though I didn't create them, it remembers them. So yeah, I don't know that we can find out easily. Let's just see, does it survive a power? It probably survives a power cycle. Give it a moment here. And what have I done? I think it doesn't like that. Okay, maybe it cleared those. Oh, it's not finding the device. What have I done? What have I done? Let's unplug it entirely. So this is a better view of the whole thing, since I didn't really show that at the beginning. So this is a Arduino Shield style device. And I think the one I've got here is a few years old. I believe maybe the little I/O chip on these has gotten smaller and surface mounted. I think this was back when this was more of a kit. So let's try replugging this. There we go. Oh, well, there's your answer. This is what is in those slots. They do all look different. Presuming that this isn't just some like glitched out version of what I put on there, maybe that's what fills those. Someone else have one of these and hasn't tried creating new characters in those slots before. Go ahead and check. And we can check, I'll check the data sheet later to see. Secret code, yeah, what mysterious, isn't it? I don't know if this is a good idea or not, because it kind of, the dimensions will be a little goofy, but I was kind of curious about a Tetris-like game, because you can make a few of these characters, maybe flip the thing vertically. Kind of curious. So there you go. So yeah, maybe it's a secret code. Ancient alphabet target. I think also, let's why not? Let's try some other goofy things with this. I'm gonna let's create all this in the REPL, and let's try LCD color equals, let's make it reddish just to see if this is working. Or how about straight red? Yeah, okay. So you can print from those CG RAM positions, slots, they're sometimes called. So if I do LCD message equals, I don't know if I have to put it in quotes. I think I do. What is this? XOO. So that, I think, was the one we saw before. Let me change the color to something more legible. And if you go beyond the, I think they might loop, they might wrap around. So if I do message, okay, 8, I think that'll loop back around the first one, yeah. So if we go to message 7, that'll be the last of those little secret codes. Yeah, I don't know yet if it's a random generator at each power cycle. Many mysteries here. Also, I'll show over in the Discord. This is neat. An alien alphabet from Andy Calloway there. That looks totally, yeah, that looks like it was designed for this type of display. Is that about 5x7 or 5x8? It looks like it. So there you have it. That is some neat little character LCD stuff. The thing I'm using here, let me go back to, oh, let me open up my YouTube chat too. Okay, so I'm gonna go to, oh, hey, Andrew Garmin. I just picked up my first ESP32 board the other day and completely new to the hobby. Just got to soldering iron and learning how to make stuff. Excellent, have fun. So let me just show you which board I'm using here. I might buy one of the new ones. If you do LCD character, there's a few different ones. The one I'm using is the Positive Display RGB LCD kit right here. Yeah, that's exactly the one I'm using. Okay, so maybe that hasn't been updated. Maybe I've got a most recent one. And then I'm using this on a Metro RP2040. Okie doke. Well, let's see. What's next? I've got what? The pinball thing. I've got the... oh, since the GP2040 people here, I just wanted to show... I don't have my workbench camera set up because it's on the pinball now, but let me just go and grab... I'm going to get quiet for a second as I walk away from the mic. But I do have another... joystick that I made on the using GP2040 CE, and this is a fight stick with a lever. So this was a this type of one here, and I like it just fine. But making it with a lever made me kind of want to make one without. So that's why that project came to be. And if you're curious about these, if you haven't seen, over on the Learn guides, if we do, here's this one, the leverless controller I set up. This just got pushed up into PR, was accepted and committed, and forgetting my words, but it's on GitHub at the, go to the software page here. At the GP2040 CE GitHub. So I don't think there's a build yet, so I included a build if you just want to do the drag and drop UF2 and you want to build it yourself. But if you head here to GP2040 CE, you can go to downloads, and these are the boards that a pre-built UF2 file is available for. If you go instead to the GitHub, releases, yeah, so I don't think it'll be in the builds for a while, but the config that I added lives here now, so you're not just having to go to the Adafruit GitHub or mine. And that's under Adafruit QtPy RP2040. Assets is just a wiring diagram that I put up in there showing you what the GPIO pin usage is. And this board config.h is really just a slightly modified version of the one from the Xiao board. I just looked at the Xiao board and KB2040 and kind of arranged things pretty similar to those in deciding what GPIO pins would be used for what. So that stuff is there. And if anyone has questions about GP2040 stuff, GP2040 CE stuff, ask in the chat right now, because we got some developers with us, like Biggie RP here. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so That other one, by the way, I've actually completely forgotten. What did I use for that one? Let's go to learn again. Let's see, is that one recent enough? It might be in here. I've got a couple joystick projects recently. There, arcade fight stick. This one I used some NeoPixels, individual, or a strand of NeoPixels running through them with side lighting, so we could do some of those fun effects, and the little display on it as well. So if you go at, yeah, so this is KB2040. I picked that again because it was an easy drag and drop one that already existed and had all the pins we needed. So if you ever want to check out how that's put together, there's our nice little display, bunch of buttons. And I made a little, you don't have to use this PCB, but I had a few PCBs made. By the way, if anyone wants one, let me know and I'll send you one, because I think I have a few spares of that. So let me know if someone's really interested in doing this and doesn't want to place an order for the PCBs. I've got a few of those laying around, I think. And that just gives you this type of, you can tell I'm a big fan of having screw terminal blocks for doing the wiring there. You don't have to, though. You could use a permaproto or, God forbid, a breadboard. Some tidying up of wires, but nothing quite like some of the boards you'll see over on the GP2040CE Discord. You'll see some amazing wiring jobs. Go check those out. I think that was my closest attempt at neatening things up, was just sort of wrapping little bits of wire around a few bundles of them. All right, so let's see, moving on from there, what did I want to do? Let's do some WLED 16 stuff. So let's go back to this view, but I'm gonna clear out this guy. Say goodbye, mysterious glyph. And I'm gonna make that, this is this goofy camera. Here we go. So what I've got is one of these right here. So this is the Sparkle Motion. So it's an ESP32 board with some nice amenities for doing WLED. So we've got, again, terminal blocks there for 3 different power and NeoPixel pin outs. We've got some I2C connectivity for STEMMA QT connections to external stuff. We have a microphone, I think built on, I can't remember, I think this is for an external mic, this little tiny 3-pin JST. So if you want to run an external mic. A couple of buttons on there, infrared receiver, so you can use a lot of the standard infrared remotes, and some power management stuff, so you can go from 5 volt to 12 to 20 if you're using a power delivery USB-C, or you can use the barrel jack connector there. So I'm going to leave this in 5 volt. Actually, this isn't the one I'm using, but you can see here the same thing, except I've got it plugged into a set of 4 8x8 NeoPixel PCBs there. This one I'm connected to here is not the external antenna one. That just happens to be there, but I swapped out the boards here when I was testing out 16. And this just is a diffuser on top of that. So I'm going to plug in here, and then I'm going to bring up should be powering up. I'm going to bring up a web page in the WLED site. So let's grab that right there. And pardon. Yeah, let me add a, I think this will be the best way to do this. Yeah, I'm going to add a browser window here. Oh, I love this idea, by the way. Over in the chat, eye on you too, Darth Paul said, if you designed the faceplate for 3D, you could build in the wire management. Yeah, so for my joystick build there, I added a whole bunch of sort of bosses there for strain relief, and yeah, the idea of adding some little hooks to wrap my wires around is a good one. Andy, yes, I got distracted and haven't added that yet. So let me add a new screen capture and grab a browser window. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, window, config, douches, Vivaldi is the browser I'm using over here, WLED. Let me turn off that. And let's make this smaller. Not that small. Okay. Okay, so you should be able to see that now. So what I did, I went to the WLED install page. Basically, you're connecting over USB, web USB to your board, reflashing it with version 16. I think I was on one of the versions of version 14 previously. And so now we're up to 16. I won't do I don't know enough about it to say here's the comprehensive overview of what's changed, but I do want to show you some of these really nice 2D art tools that you can use in there. So first of all, let me get it working. Why do I have no... Let me reset this and then I'll reconnect. Let's power off, power on. I don't think I'm connected to this. Install me, yeah, okay. So let's go forward a page. 192.168.1.90. Let's try changing the color. Yeah, why do I have no light? You're plugged in. Does it think it's there even when I unplug it? Let's just make sure. So it's a liar. Yeah, this is just kind of a cached page. Okay, let me see. If I plug this in. It seems like, whoa, this is a dumb way to do this, but it's actually okay to just hit install, connect over web serial, see if it finds something there. Oh, good, and then don't connect. Okay, so we can go to that little log view, and now I'm going to do 192.168.1.90. Okay, I think we're connected to it now. If you can't figure out the address of it on your local Wi-Fi, use the phone app because it's better at that. But I wanted to be able to show it to you easily. So, I think I have the current limiting on. Let's go to config, LED, setup. Oh, I'm set to 2 amps. Let me just check my wiring too. Oh, that seems good. Try. Turning off current limiting entirely. Back. Let me go over where I was messing with stuff in 2D. I'm going to go to Pixel Forge, scrolling text, test. I broke something. Let's go back to config, 2D config. Set this to be a 1D strip. Save. Back. Segment is 0 to 1, 256. Grouping 1. And back. I'm just going to try the phone app for a second and see if there's any difference. Just have to jump on the same Wi-Fi. See if we find it. Okay, so this is phone app. So this one here, WLED, that's the brightness. It's on. Yeah, wow, I totally broke it. All right, so we'll do a little wiring check on this. My biggest worry sometimes, actually, with even though I love terminal blocks, my biggest worry is with stranded wire. Oh, is my brightness control all the way down, you said? My biggest concern is sometimes stranded wire can short. If you're not careful, it can short the neighbor. Let me go to a full camera here. That looks good. Marketing idea from David Glaudet. For some product picks of the week, 3 weeks after the show, do a project using that product in the workshop. That way it's a bigger incentive to go for it. Oh, that's a nice idea. Okay, that looks really fine to me. Okay, let's plug. Just gonna lift that off so I'll see a little healthy glow if it works. We're in 5 volts. There's not much going on. This is still soldered to the NeoPixel board. And go back over here. You reload the page. Board is on. Okay, I really ruined it. I don't think I'll be able to demo that. Let's just try for kicks here. Connecting a different NeoPixel strip. We won't be able to do the 2D stuff, but I am curious. Or let me try this other board. So let's take this one. I'm going to try to flash this one. So this is plugged in now. The other one is not. And let's go install WLED. Install, connect, connect. Yeah, that's what I was getting with this one before. So this one needs to be erased somehow, and it's not allowing it. Failed to initialize. Holding boot. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. That should have put it into bootloader mode. Okay, it's not ready to be connected to, so let's get out of bootloader mode. So I'm holding the little boot button. Nope, it really is unhealthy. Okay, I don't know what happened to that guy. The demo's a bust. I don't think this one's coming back easily right now on air, which is a bummer because there are a whole bunch of really cool 2D tools, and I'll try to get them up and running for next week. There's a pixel art converter, there's direct drawing, there's GIF animation support, so all stuff that looks really good on these little 2D matrix panels. This one's a 4 of the 8x8s. Let's try this other one. Oh yeah, this guy is just not even showing up. I don't know what I did to this guy. No port. Yeah, it's definitely no port. This is a new machine. Wait, let's see. This is a new machine that I haven't put any of those drivers on. Which one is it? Okay, do you want to do this? Sure. Let's go to the Sparkle Motion page. Let's do Sparkle. Let's do that. Let's go to the web page for the primary guide, and I want to see, do we say which? Oh, this is the CH343. We put it nice and big on the silk screen. Is that right? CH343 it is. Okay, so let's install. It probably requires a restart, but so you won't see this right now, but I'm just doing a driver install. And let's see, can we translate that? Not easily. Make sure the right drivers. Okay, so try again. And I'm going to try to refresh. Yeah, I probably need to restart the browser too. I think we're a bust on this. Nope, I toasted this. All right. No demo. Sorry about that. Next week. Okay, so let's move on then to Williams Pinball. Just USB things. Good grief. So you may recall I got a pinball table. It's a 1975 or 76 Williams space mission. And look, that's it right there. So I don't have quite the right lens on that camera to show it in all its glory. But there it is. There's Space Mission. Look, it's not a video or a GIF from the internet. There's me right there. Few things about it. It's fully electromechanical. Blinking bulbs are literally blinking because the bulbs are the blinking kind from your Christmas tree. There's nothing in the table telling those to blink. Some bulbs are dead. It's something I still need to fix. By and large, it's working well. It needs some tuning, but I fixed most of the major issues that it was having with like a runaway scoring motor and not quite being able to trigger some effects and things, coin stuff and so on. So that a lot of that has just been a little bit of burnishing of switches, and I got a little switch, leaf switch adjustment tool to just make some of the gaps either larger or smaller between leaf switch parts. So I'll show you. I'll show you it working. You won't be able to see the ball that well, honestly, because it's a little dark. But I'll then pop it open and show you just the guts, just to get kind of the major a look at some of the major functions there before hopefully we dive in a little closer at some things on this. So I'm going to head over there, and I'll try. I'm going to mute my shotgun mic for a second and try to re-aim it. I just don't want you to have to hear that, but that's a little. Oh. So I'll unmute that one. So I've got a mic that's sort of pointed over here. It's pointed directly right here, actually, but it's should be close enough. So hopefully you'll hear some pinball sounds. I've got it configured in what I kind of remember is the right way, which is quarters for a play. And this one has an easy selection for 5 or 3 balls per game. So when I, right now, if I try to hit the start button that's down here, you won't hear anything, it won't start. I'm going to put a quarter in. So ka-thunk, it hit the cabinet shaker there. We'll just reset these two scoring reels there, and hopefully I'll get a camera back there so we can see some of that in action. It just shot the ball over here, and now I can launch that in. You'll hear chimes. It's got 3 sort of doorbell chimes. Oh. It has this little swinging motor for bonuses, little target, swinging target up here for bonuses. Oh, out lane, and I'm out. Now I'll score up my bonuses. There. So what I'm going to do is pull off, I'll go ahead and turn it off. There's a little on-off switch there. And the way these open is you'll see this come up and off. There's a lever once you have the coin door open that takes this little playfield glass bracket and unlatches it. I got some silicone corners for the glass protectors for where I set it down so that we have a better chance of not chipping anything. But this just slides out. So you'll see that coming out of there. And one thing I've noticed is a heck of a lot louder without the glass on. Just everything about it, including the chimes, but any of the solenoids that get going. Oh, someone's dogs are barking at that. Okay, so now let me turn that back on so you can see it in action without the glare. And I can trigger stuff myself. So there are actually a lot of features that won't work until the ball goes through one of these 3 scoring lanes at top, because that means that it's actually successfully launched. If you get it to go through one of those, you're now on the playfield and lots of others. So it does not know that that drained there, so I'll take that off of there. So it thinks it's in play now, which means I can hit this swinging target to add bonus. And now I'm increasing these bonus multipliers here. You'll see these go up each time I hit that bonus. And we can also hit some of these bonuses, and we'll hear a little pop, which is what shoots the ball back out onto the field. There's a few like that. I don't want to be near them when they launch because they kick the ball back out. And then we can check out some pop bumper stuff. So these are kind of the reason that I wanted to get into pinball mechanisms in the first place, is these things that manage to kick the ball no matter what angle they come in at. So I'll drain it. So there's a switch there that knows that we just drained a ball, and that's counting down a whole bunch of bonuses, and now we're ready with the next one. So let's launch that in, let that drain. I kind of like to let it play the full thing so I don't get stuck in a weird state. This does have some sort of self-playing features a little bit. So this just advanced to ball 4 up here, and I'll let that drain to ball 5. And I don't actually have to do that. I can just hit one of these lane switches and then drain it here. The game should end. And then there's a game over light that just lit there. So if I can grab the ball out of here, I can now lift the lid on the thing, and it's okay to do in this case. You can actually do that with it open. Just you need to be careful because there's live 120 volt and then a transformer splitting off to 24 and 6, I think it is. But this just lifts up, and there's a kickstand. Here. And now let me repoint some lights and camera so you can see some of. Boost that light there, and I'm just going to come over here for a second and rearrange the camera. And let's see. I might be better off looking up here. Yeah. Uh-oh. There we go. Sorry. I think that focus is pretty good. Sure. So some of the things you'll see on here, what I can do is actually feed a quarter in and get it up and running. But some of the things you'll see in here, this, I think I point with, this right here is the swinging motor. Pretty much everything on here is AC, except for the pop bumpers. Those have a DC rectifier. But otherwise, almost everything on here is AC. And there's a transformer here, like I said, that's giving us, I think, 24 volts and 6 volts AC. And then 6 volts DC for one pair of solenoids here. So this is a little swinging motor. It's going to go back and forth. These, you can see this little blue solenoid here is one of the flipper solenoids. So let me put a quarter in. And then I hit start. And I will get camera position for some of the scoring motor stuff down inside later, another time. But you can see this right here is now rotating, which is moving that little moving target. If I hit a flipper, you'll see this guy jerk right here, whoop, whoop, and this one here. That one does not have quite as much secondary movement, but this one has a little bit of a gap here that probably I should fix. But that is just, you know, a tiny bit of what's going on here. There's a whole bank of relays here for different logic gate-like scenarios. Lots and lots of these stacks of switches and relays. And then down in here I've got the chimes, which you'll hear them a lot louder now that it's open. So if I launch a ball, those are all just these sort of doorbell chime knocker kind of things. Yeah, I wish I could show you more from here, but this is the one, you see this white wrapped solenoid. That's the bumper I fixed. Just replaced the solenoid on. So that was shorting and popping a fuse in here. There's a little bank of fuses. So that's just a little glimpse. Let me just see if anyone has any questions or thoughts on this. All the relays, really is. YouTube. Cool. All right. So let me close that. I can shut that off and close that. One of the kind of mind-boggling things about this one is this is the 4-player variant. There was another version called Space Odyssey that was a 2-player version, and so as you feed quarters into this one, if I feed multiples in, let's do 4 quarters. I've got 5 credits on the board now. Each time I press now, I'm adding players, so it's saying 1 to 4 can play. So now it's ready for 4-player. So if I drain the ball right now, let me readjust the camera actually. All of the scoring right now is heading to the player 1 reels. I'm going to keep this sort of tighter focus so you can just see the... There you can see this scoring. So right now, if I hit a point, it'll add to that reel. Player 1. And let me drop a ball. So now it's going to add up the bonuses and move to player 2. Oh, it didn't. Okay, let's see. Okay, so now it's moved to player 2. That light is out, and it says ball 1. Just let this do some scoring. Should all go to the player 2. Now this will be the player 2 bonuses, and now I'll switch over to player 3, some sort of thing. But again, there's no solid state logic on here. It's all just electromechanical relays saying which of these sets of 4 score reels are we looking at right now, as well as some other state stuff that gets stored. So we're on player 4. Back up to player 1, and it's the second ball. So anyway, we'll dive into some of how this stuff works, especially if there's interest, and we'll be maybe doing some little microcontroller projects associated with this in the future. Just move this here. Turn it off. Actually, I'm going to leave that on, and I'll finish those later. So there we go. Turn off that mic there. Yeah, there's a lot of arcing, and hopefully I'll get a good way to put a little small camera in there. Pretty much every switch is, when you hit things like the buttons for the flippers, you'll see a little arcing because we're letting like a 6-volt AC or a 24-volt AC path, fairly high current path, run through them. Ion U2 says a lot of them use 24 VAC, so not as bad as of EMI as you would expect. Okay. So let's see. I think that's it with that. Okay, and the other thing I wanted to do is say if any of the developers of GP2040CE are still around, let us know if you're still around. If anyone has questions for the devs, thanks so much for stopping by today. And let us know if you have feature requests and things like that. If you're anyone in the community who's used GP2040CE before, I'm a big fan of that setup. Okay, I think, is that going to do it? Oh, last thing I'll do, let me do a little recap of where I'm at with the Bluetooth sniffer. So I decided to go with the humble 3 AAA battery pack with on-off switch and JST connector. So 0 soldering, 0 lipo, no 3D printed case. I decided to just go minimal. So this is just using some of those little U-glue adhesive, 2 little U-glue, or actually 1 U-glue adhesive square to stick those to the bottom, but it means we still have access to the capacitive touch on these. So I'm gonna show you this. Let me just go to the down shooter. And I can just power it on. Click like that. See it boots up. And refocus there. So this is in real time what it's finding in my space. We have 8 devices right now. I think every 25 seconds I have it scan. So I can go and look at a device on here, find out more of its BLE advertisement packet details, and go back to the list. Now we're at 9 devices, doing some guessing about these Apple devices, which don't tell you the truth, but there are some guesses that you can make based on which services and things they have that tell you, oh, this is probably an AirTag, etc. This is the 0 tab here on CapTouch sorts, so or filters, I should say. So it's either everything or just things that have a name, things that we have seen before, Apple stuff, and non-Apple stuff. So this list grows quickly as I turn devices on and walk around a bit. So that's the state of this. I do have it also recognizing things like the Disneyland, all the little Disneyland gizmos. Oh, it just reset itself. After next scan, it should clear that up. So right in the guide for that now, code is up, and if you want to go and check that out or even add to the code, love to see what people want from a Bluetooth scanner. Okay, yeah, Big ERP from the GP2040 CE team is still around, so if anyone has questions, also in the YouTube chat, if you do, I can convey those, or you can hang around a bit after the show. Let us know. Okay, I think that is going to do it for today. Again, I'll mention if you want to save some money over in the shop, Glyphs is your coupon code today, GLYPHS. That'll save you 10% off in the shop. I believe there's going to be a Foamy Guy, Tim, deep dive tomorrow, so come check that out. Potential Desk of Lady Ada things over the weekend. They're busy, so probably not, but you never know. So keep an eye on the blogs and the socials. I'll be back. Foamy Guy may be doing a Tuesday morning show as well. He usually does, so I'm not sure if he's doing both, covering both Friday and Tuesday morning. I'll be here on Tuesday afternoon with the Product Pick of the Week show, and then we'll be back on Wednesday with the 3D Hangouts and Show and Tell. Just checking the chats here. YouTube chat question from Dave Odessa. Are you able to get replacement bulbs? Yes. These are still available. These are the ones I'm using. So there are type 47 and type 44 bulbs. Similar to what you find in some indicators, map lights in cars and things like that. And these are incandescent that I'm using just because I like that warm ambery glow. You can get LED replacements that just pop in and have are able to deal with the AC and the voltage. I think these are all 6 volt. So, but I got the the little 10 lamp sets, and they're not that expensive. So I don't know if these are still made or if this is new old stock, but you can either just search around on eBay because those are used in a lot of different places, or go to a dedicated pinball supply place. The difference between the 47 and the 44, number 47 and number 44 bulb, 47s are dimmer, which is meant to help not warp your plastics. So the playfield has these little plastic, beautiful screen printed plastic things. They can get a little warpy over time, and some people think that you can slow that process down by having slightly cooler lights. So I'm going to try to get them all uniform, either one or the other. This table, at some point, someone did some work on this table, including putting some red bulbs in. I think I'm going to switch those back out for the original white lights. Let's see. Any other questions? John Nodge says, I believe Foamy Guy will stream on Tuesday, but he won't on Saturday if he's covering Deep Dive on Friday. Okay, there you go. Yes, Tim usually does a Saturday stream as well. But if he's on Friday, he probably won't do the 2 in a row like that. Cool. Some other chats coming in. They're 24 volt. Oh, okay. And surely be available because of older trucks. There you go. Cool. Yes, good. All right. I think that's going to do it for today. I'm going to go play some pinball. Thanks everyone so much for stopping by. For Adafruit Industries, I'm John Park. This has been John Park's Workshop. See you soon. Bye-bye.